right, everybody. Welcome to the Cheat Day Show. My name is Ryan Reiss. I'm joined today by Jeremy Schaftel and our very special guest, Roy Wood Jr.
Yes, I am very special.
Well, it's kind of a big deal that you're here, buddy. You got a lot of action right now.
I don't know if I really... It's not that I don't like you. It's just that I love food more, and that was more the motivating factor for me being here.
Oh, that's the whole idea.
Yeah, you got him on MLK. It's Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, for those of you listening.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're at work right now.
Well, I guess this is no longer evergreen. Thanks, Jeremy.
I love how everybody thinks MLK Day is like Black people Hanukkah, where we're just kind of like, yeah, you know, I'm on the chill. Don't talk to me.
It should be.
I know, right? You know, it's an interesting holiday, though, in that it's whatever you make it out to be, which I think is how all holidays should be. Some businesses are open, some are closed, some people take remembrance, some people make jokey flyers about MLK. Like, I feel like MLK Day is like what 9/11 will eventually turn into.
Is this bittersweet for you? I saw somebody tweeted at you. You have resting Martin Luther King Jr. face.
No, I've had to accept it. I can't change how I look. And if I have a Martin Luther King Jr. hairline and face jowls...
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it's bad for comedy.
Really?
You know what? I used to perform in suits when I first started.
Oh, I remember.
That's the first time I saw you.
I met you when you were getting ready for your first Letterman at the Laugh Factory.
Bro.
And you came into New York City. There was a Laugh Factory in New York City on 42nd and 9th.
Yeah.
And you were just running your Letterman set, and you had a blazer on, and I was like, oh, this guy's the real deal.
Never again. You couldn't drag me into a blazer on stage. But at the time, when I started, I was 19. I was scrawny. And so the suit got me respect from adults because you're performing in front of 40 and 50-year-old black people. They don't respect you, but they respect the suit. The suit made me look like a pastor.
Yeah. The ironic thing about that is the first time I saw you were in a suit, you were doing Wyatt's Next show like 10 years ago, Night Train.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
In Brooklyn?
Yeah, and I had no idea who Roy was, but I liked that first of all, everybody was so young and cool, and then you came out in a suit, and that was refreshing to me. And then you killed, and I was like, this guy should be like famous. And now you're everywhere.
Jeremy's a young guy, but his soul is 90. He saw you in the suit, and he's like, finally, a respectable performer.
I've thought about going back to the suit, but I just don't know how to get around. Like, part of why I don't wear a suit now is because The Daily Show fucking makes us wear a suit every fucking time we're on the show. So I almost like on some James Bond shit. Yeah. Like, I can only wear the tuxedo when I'm in that role.
I remember the remote where you're in a pool in a suit.
Yeah.
Which was also amazing.
Yeah, straight underwater in a suit doing underwater aircraft emergency evacuation, like military, when your fighter jet crashes in a lake type training. In a suit, dress shoes, whole wop.
I always say if they're paying you, put on the suit. If the money's right, put on the suit.
Of course, and I'm not complaining about it, but I'm saying anytime that I'm not at Daily Show, I just don't want to be in a suit because that's the suit place. So on stage, blazer. I mean, bomber jacket, no blazers.
Yeah. That's what's the weird, because if you go through your online rabbit hole of YouTube clips, it's like Daily Show, suit, and specials. It's like sneakers. It's like cool jacket.
Yeah.
It's you can't really put you in a category.
Well, other than it being a holiday, this is also a very special moment because right now, and bear in mind, this is not based on any fact. This is just all what I've heard in the street. Roy's up for every job in the world right now.
Exactly.
Literally everyone.
I'm just up for working hard.
I've heard you're up for host of Daily Show. I've heard you're up for host of James Gordon's show when he bounces.
There are many opportunities in late night that are presenting themselves to a multitude of talents. And I just want to, I don't know, you reach some zen spot where you go, oh, I really want to do exactly what I want to do. And whoever wants to do that with me is where I will go. Like, that's where I'll land.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, specifically, yes, Daily Show. I'm absolutely, it's a job you have to consider. If you're offered the job, you have to consider that. But to go, I want to host that and nothing else, only that. I'm not going to say that because I don't know what. I'm
I
still
love
trying
how
to figure
you
out what I want
switch
to
your
do.
body language, like you're at the bargaining table all of a sudden. Like you're gonna put your chips out.
I feel like he's
Yeah.
been asked this question probably 1,000
This
times.
is just Ryan.
But the closer we get finally to the Daily Show being back with all of the guest hosts, like I can speak a little more freely about. Like when Trevor first quit, it was very much, hey, could everybody shut the fuck up for a little while? Figure out what the fuck to do. Whereas now it's like, yeah, we know what's going on. You got a gang of guest hosts coming in. My name's in the hat. I'll get a week at some point.
Yeah, I was listening
Before
to you on
June.
Seth, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. They said that you're going to be hosting during that run with a bunch of other hosts.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are looking at that like that's your audition, but in your mind, it's like that's my audition for myself to see if do I want this.
Yeah, I think it's also
Yeah.
that, because
Yeah, but here's the thing, in my opinion, if you don't mind me saying, you're getting that based on talent.
As your
The
counsel.
other people are coming in as famous. You're coming in as just a really talented, funny
you, brother.
guy, and that's
Yeah.
amazing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To be in that mix with all these people, and you're just known as funny.
I mean, you're talking beasts, too, who already did the shit. Like Chelsea Handler's done late night. Sarah Silverman, Wanda Sykes, D.L. Hughley's done Comedy Central and CNN in a non-scripted capacity. On top of that, with the radio. So, like, these people are no strangers to satire and opinion. So it's an honor to have my name in the hat. But I also feel like, in a way, bro, like, it's also an option to try and go and create my own thing if that presents itself. Like, what if you come up with the weird thing that doesn't fit in any box?
Yeah, that seems
Where
that
does
was
that idea
yeah.
go? What do I do with that?
A podcast during the day at the Comedy Cellar. that's kind of where it ends up.
No,
I don't know.
I thought you meant that in terms of what you would do with the Daily Show if it were under your reins as
Yes.
the creative force.
Yeah, but
behind
still,
it.
there's only so much that you can do within the pre-existing constructs of a show. Daily Show's legacy, and you'll be able
Yeah.
to change some things around, but it's like football. If you come in as the new coach of a team,
Yeah.
the team has an ideology. They have an identity.
Exactly.
Like the Pittsburgh
Yeah.
Steelers as a team
Of
have an
course.
identity. You can run a different offense, but as an identity, as a franchise, they're different from the Dolphins or the Cowboys or whatever. So I don't know how much of my ideas would influence or change the identity of the show.
Yeah, I heard John really struggle a lot with that when he had to take over for Craig Kilborn, and there was people that hated that he came in with new ideas and
Yeah.
really struggled with the politics of that.
Yeah, and I think there was something similar with Trevor in the early days because it's definitely new ideas, and new is horrifying in television because the problem with TV as a whole, and this just isn't late night, it's also scripted. It's especially scripted, to be honest. TV requires you to take creative risks, to be innovative and to be on the edge, to be truly different. But no one from the exec level down to the producer level is going to
Yeah.
be jumping at the chance to do something completely different.
Yeah.
Because if it's too different and it doesn't work, then you all get fired.
They're looking at their bottom line.
Innovation, the risk attached to innovation is not rewarded in television, it's punished.
Oh, yeah.
So people at the producer level, people at the executive level, people at the development level, they all hedge their bets. That's why they always say everybody's in a race to be second. Nobody wanted to do the first Abbott Elementary, but now that Abbott Elementary's done, there's 3 or 4 more shows in development, all about bleeding heart occupations in different fucking struggling communities, because you see, it works, so let's all do
Yeah.
it now. So, I think when you're coming in as the new host of anything, you're going to have some new ideas, and you're going to have to, slow sell people on them. And Trevor was able to do that. But I think for whatever my ideas are, I've got to be very careful to make sure that I'm putting myself in the right position to be in the right place to do those ideas. Because to me, the idea is more important than the vehicle. That's more important than... if I'm hosting something but I ain't doing what I want to do, what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you're a comedian, you're not having fun on stage. Like, why the fuck am I
Making
here?
money.
Yeah, okay, that'll buy you 2 years. You know what? And here's the thing:
Building an audience,
I
getting
would-
your name out there.
if there's a way to do both, it's like morning radio. And the only reason I can speak like this is because I did morning radio for about 12,
It's your background.
13 years. Yeah,
And your dad also.
yeah. My dad was more on the commentary, news, more on that Bryant Gumbel, Lester Holt side of it. But morning radio was great money, but I woke up every day for 4 hours and had to talk about stuff I did not care about near the back end of my career. Where, like, once you age out, like, that's the other thing. I was doing hip-hop stations. So, you know, I started 19, 20 as an intern. Once I got into early to mid-30s, I was like, man, I don't know if I can keep counting Kardashians and who fought who on Real Housewives. And, you know, so I wanted to do something that I was really invested in. And I just want to make sure that wherever I go next, I think it has to be something that I like.
You care about.
That I care about. I care about news. I care about The Daily Show. But I also have ideas.
Yeah.
And the same goes for Corden. The same goes for any new show that I can conjure up out of my own head. I really want to be somewhere doing the things that excite me, you know, in the vehicles, in the way that they excite me.
Well, you're a stand-up. I mean, you're probably the truest form of a stand-up.
But also, as a fan of yours, I do appreciate that about you. I remember I listened to your Marin podcast, and you're on Chelsea Handler's show, and she was talking about...
fucked up good, bro.
Yeah, something stupid about bad plastic surgery, and you're like, who the fuck cares?
But I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. And in defense
but it made
of
me like you more.
But in defense of Chelsea, but that's a perfect example. I had no business on Chelsea lately.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do.
No, but I'm saying because pop culture is not my lane. You know my stand-up. I don't talk about celebrities. I don't give a fuck. But that was exposure. It was money, and it was a chance, and it was a new show, and E is trying out a lot of different... You should come on down. But what I basically did was the equivalent of going on ESPN and saying, who cares about sports?
Yeah.
Well, get the fuck out of here. We're not going to have you back. This is a sports channel. This is where... So I shouldn't even have been on there in the first place. But it's the opportunity. It's the exposure. You hope somebody finds you. And so I think there's a sliding scale of how to handle that. But, you know, don't get me twisted. If any show offered me, I'm not going to say no. I got a kid. Pay some bills.
Oh, I hope Real Housewives is listening.
But what I'm not going to fall into in any juncture of late night, regardless of where I land, I'm not going to fall into some sort of Jon Stewart, John Oliver cosplay where I'm just up there doing what they did. They done did it. So I have to do something that's more me-centric and more Roy-centric. And just figuring that part of it out, that's been the fun part of the process. That's really like, if you really want to get granular about this shit, bro, the cool part about what I'm going through now is that because we have guest hosts every week, and they're all bringing their own different style to the show, their own different comedic flavors, we get to try, we being the correspondents, we get to try all types of wild shit now that we never would have done under Trevor, simply because Marlon Wayans ain't the same as Leslie Jones.
It's like SNL hosts.
Literally. Yeah. It's literally that. Sarah Silverman and Hassan Minhaj, they're not the same.
Yeah.
That's going to be 2 different weeks with 2 different comedic things that I could try and do. So, I don't know, I think you get to experiment a little bit more. So that's cool. So you get more time for trial and error. Whereas the guest hosts come in, they get a week.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
Since 98. I don't know the math on that.
Okay.
24, 25 years, I guess.
Yeah.
It checks
24,
out.
Yeah.
You used to open for Tommy Davidson?
Bro, I blew a semester of school fucking around with Tommy Davidson.
Dude, he's funny.
Not blow a semester of school funny. He's not flunk out of
Who is?
It worked out for you?
Yes, it did eventually, but at the time, that was not a smart decision. I flunked a class that I didn't know at the time was only offered in the fall, because I got a call, like, you know, in the South, I don't know how it is up here, but down South, when you're a road comic, you get called for fallouts, which, if you're not a comedian, it's basically covering somebody else's shift. It's the same as your job. Hey, so-and-so can't make it. Can you drive to Charlotte today and open for Tommy Davidson? With the idea being that I thought I was going to have the Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy thing where Eddie Murphy saw Chris Rock perform and then put him in Beverly Hills Cop 2.
90s an hour.
And then after Beverly Hills Cop 2, Chris Rock to the moon. So I thought that was what was going to happen with me and Tommy Davidson. Bro, I packed 2 weeks worth of bags for a 3-day gig because I thought Tommy Davidson. This is how I thought
The guy from Joanna, man.
This is my shot. I'm never coming home.
But you got to remember,
You burnt your house down and just walked away.
This is 99 Tommy Davidson, though. He's
That's
fresh
true.
off in Living Color, Ace Ventura.
He
When
was a
Nature
big
Calls.
deal.
He had.
I know he's a big deal, but and he's funny. He's still funny.
Yes.
He is the first legitimate famous person that I ever opened for or worked with. So in my brain, this is Hollywood. This is where I'm trying to get to. I should pack extra clothes in case this motherfucker wants to take me back to L.A.
Question about the timeline. Were you working at Golden Corral during this period, or is this after?
This is all around the same time.
Wow.
It's all around the same time.
So take me away from the chocolate fountain. I want to go.
I opened for
Eddie
Tommy
Murphy.
Davidson in Charlotte, and he doesn't watch a single one of my sets because I didn't understand the concept of
But that happens, dude.
the headline is
Standard.
not even here yet.
Soul crushing. I've been there plenty of times.
I come in the green room after I come off of the last show Saturday night, and he just goes, "Hey, brother, if I don't see you after the show, good job. Didn't see any of it, but they say you did good. Keep it up."
In some ways, that's better.
My fucking luggage is in the manager's office.
Oh, shit.
Because I thought like he was just going to go get in the limo.
Oh, man.
We're going to Hollywood. And I'm like, fuck. Take my luggage back to the Greyhound station.
But how relieved were you that you didn't tell him that?
To this day, I don't think he knows. I've opened for him 3 more times.
Tommy, if you're listening,
They did a
you messed up.
They did a segment on Tamron Hall show before the pandemic. I was doing the warm up there.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do comedy, right? And I remember they cut the time from like 5 minutes to a minute and a half, and I went, "Who is going to do a minute and a half of comedy and do well? This is insane." I was kind of annoyed that the producers were doing that. It was Tommy Davidson. Dude, he crushed in a minute and a half, and I was like,
How do you build a relationship in 90 seconds?
He was doing Instagram Reels
He just
before there were
did.
Instagram Reels.
He did a live reel.
It's one of those moments where you think you know comedy because you've been doing it so long, and then you see someone do something that shouldn't be possible, and you're like, God damn it, he's funny.
I saw Whoopi Goldberg on a 60-page script only look at that shit 3 times. Full memorization on a table read for an ABC sitcom. Single-handedly the most amazing performance. I know it's technically not a performance on stage, but I know that these were new pages that we just got the night before.
Wow, what a pro.
And she just, I don't know what switch flips in her brain where it goes, memorize. Like fucking The
Got some
Matrix,
beautiful mind shit.
where Trinity learned how to fly a helicopter.
Yeah.
And you're like,
No one jumps to the other building their first time. Not Whoopi.
I need the specs to a Bill Huey chopper. I'm ready. Let's go. It's like that type of shit.
She just seizures for a second. She's like, I got it.
Yeah.
Sister Act 3, let's do it.
What's the biggest thing that you were up for that you didn't get? Like, what was we just talked about Tommy Davidson being like this moment where you thought you were going to go on the road. Like, what was there a moment when there was like a commercial or a TV show where you were in the running and you were just writing those checks in your head? You were just like, I booked this. I'm buying a new car. I'm going on vacation. Like,
There's stuff I've seen, but then I'll see it on TV, and then I'll go, oh, well, I wouldn't have cast me either. And I'm gonna find the brother's name because I don't like saying the dude or the guy.
but it happens all the time, right? You're up for something and you don't get it, and then you see they cast like a female model, and you're like, what? Why was I even considered?
It was the sheriff on Dexter New Blood, and I know
Okay.
that sounds like a
I watched
cut,
that.
but that was my
I know who that
first
is.
opportunity at a real dramatic role.
He was kind of like a Native American.
No, that was the other guy. That was
Oh.
the other guy. But it was definitely a black dude. Hang on, it wasn't Jennifer Carpenter.
Oh, he died at, I don't want to spoil, sorry.
Alano
We're
Miller.
going to spoil.
Alano Miller's the actor's name. He's a great actor. He did an amazing job in that role. But that was like the first, like, oh, you don't see me as just joke dude. Because keep in mind, up until that point, all I had under my belt, I don't want to say all, but I'd done Space Force, Last OG, Better Call Saul,
I saw you Death of Dick Long,
Death of Dick Long.
which is an amazing thing to be a part of.
Don't spoil that. And then Only Murders in the Building as well. So it's all comedy, it's all silly, it's all high energy.
So now,
But the Dexter thing, I was really excited for because I was like, oh wow, this is a chance, and I was like, I was in the running, and it didn't happen. That's fine, but I'd say, like, if you're trying to go like biggest disappointments or something, the first
just messed up, just like the one you were like,
oh, I know another one. Wipeout in the first year
As a host?
one of the co-hosts was it John Anderson from Sports Center, and I think John Henson.
yes,
Talk soup.
yep, that's
Soul
John- yeah.
patch in his
Yeah.
hair. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Before Joel McHale.
Yeah, but this is before Joe McHale. I'll say this. I'm not going to say I had it, but I had a really great audition. One of those auditions where when you're leaving an audition and they ask you, when are you free again? That means they're bringing you back.
Yeah.
That means you're on the short list. And the guy had a Kevin Garnett, like, jacket or something in the corner. And at the time, the Celtics were having a rough patch
Yeah.
in their season. And I figured sports is the unify. Oh, man, the Celtics, man, look like they not doing good right now. And his fucking face went fucking furious. He goes, where are you from, Roy? I go, Alabama. How's Alabama's team doing in the NBA? I go, we don't have one.
Wow.
Exactly. Thanks, Roy.
Whoa.
There's no coming back from that one.
I was like, all right. Well,
Can't
lesson
change where you're
learned.
from.
Lesson learned. I don't fuck around in auditions after. You just learn lessons.
Yeah.
His whole career is just learning a bunch of lessons.
So now you actually work in a couple of different professions, broadcasting, comedy, and acting. Now, as comedians, we don't really focus too much on our health or what we eat or anything like that. But you're an actor, so do you like moderate what you eat or focus on nutrition at all?
Really, I'm trying to phase out sugar. I'm just starting there.
Yeah.
If I could get sugar, carbs, and cheese out of my diet, I'd probably be 3/4 of the way to where I need to be. The rest of it is exercise.
Yeah, I had some questions about not necessarily like your diet, but your food preferences, because like our discussion before about you can't fake inauthenticity when it comes to things you want to speak about when you're on stage.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I watched your first two specials, you closed both of those with McDonald's bits. And they're both, the thing is that not only are they great bits, I thought what was so funny to me was that you spoke with the same fervor as you speak about racial injustice on stage. And, if I were your therapist, I would say there seems to be a there. And so my question to you is, what do you want from McDonald's that they're not giving you besides 2 free sauces?
I tell you where I was wrong about McDonald's, in that for sure we didn't need all-day breakfast. Like, as a society, we screamed and yelled. We bullied McDonald's into giving us biscuits at 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
we had them and we're like, nah, we don't. They were right. They were right. Sorry about that.
So we're about ready to serve you, but I asked you what your food preferences were because this is the cheat day show, so we're getting a great meal for you. You had basically said no peanuts, but like chicken, beef, broccoli, like all those things.
Yeah, I do all of that. I'm not big on overly spicy foods
Yes.
or overly saucy foods. Like, I don't like a lot of loose shit sloshing around my plate. Like, even when I do curry, like when I'm out, I like my rice and curry separate, and then I like to be in charge of how much curry I distribute on top of the rice. Like, I want that. Like, I feel like I want to be in control when it comes to shit like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I try to eat better, man. But it's the life, man. It's just hard.
Well, you're not going to eat better today. This is the cheat day show, man. We want to
Sometimes
spoil you a little bit.
I'm up till 3 and 4 o'clock in the fucking morning on a random night. My last meal was at 8:30. What I'm supposed to do? Fast?
Does a lot of the animus for McDonald's come from having to fuck with them when there's nobody else to
By the way,
fuck with?
they're 24 hours now.
Yeah.
That's-
Like, I really feel like it's a situation where if you can be emotional about anything, you can draw people in.
For sure.
And I think that's kind of where I try to connect my stand-up. Like, even lately, yelling about everything being flaming hot, which I fucking hate.
Yeah, I want to ask about that. I saw the Flamin' Hot Cinnamon Toast
milk.
Crunch.
Flamin' hot milk.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's a real
There's a Flamin' Hot Cinnamon Toast
Flamin'
Crunch.
Hot Cinnamon
Wow.
Toast Crunch. It's like, for what?
So
Why do you need
I'm
hot cereal.
I love you said your
our
asshole's
chef is
already.
plating your meal, and I'm going to let him
Lord.
describe what he did. But yeah, it's your Tuesday, man. This is not a missed opportunity. We're giving you
Can you get that
a
at
winning meal.
Grown man steak.
I don't think you can get that at Golden Corral.
No, you cannot. I mean, you could try, but
You
it
could
wouldn't
try.
look like that.
You know who else worked at Golden Corral? Jay Farrell. You guys ever
No, I
talk
did not
about
know
this?
that.
We have a mutual friend, Anthony Verderami, who edited No One Loves You. I worked with him on Jay Farrow's special and Fred Armisen's special.
Yeah.
And Jay has a whole bit about working at Golden Corral, and he saw somebody put a steak in the chocolate fountain.
That sounds right.
And he had a bit about he pranked the dishwasher. He threw a roll at him behind his back, and he didn't see who did it, and just had like a whole Vietnam flashback and thought the white guy did it, and just
No.
like threatened to like fuck him up. And Jay had a choice to like come clean, and he did not.
Just let him fight.
Yeah.
You know why? Because when you're young at those jobs, and I'm sure Jay was younger when he was working there,
And your bit's amazing, by the way.
bro, like you're working with grown men. That's the thing about restaurant work, which I
Yeah.
think is beautiful, is that you get a sneak preview of every possible way your life could end.
Yeah. It really does. No.
Like, if you're working with 30 motherfuckers,
You talk about that.
they're
in the
not
bit,
all
yeah.
on the up and up.
Yeah.
Some are on the way up, some are on the
Yeah.
way down. Some people still have, like, whoever's working up front with the drinks, like, this is their career. I'm going to be.
Yeah, the manager
I'm going
is
to be
the-
in
yeah.
hospitality and do this. And then I'm going to get moved to a 5-star hotel. And then I'm going to work at the JW Marriott. But right now I'm at Golden Corral, where in the back of the house, I'll fuck you up. I've been to Vietnam.
Exactly. Is
Not that different than stand-up.
All working to achieve the same goal.
Stand-up, though. I mean, when you start, at 19, you're working with adult men.
Yeah.
Some of them on the way up, some on the way down.
is your bit about Golden Corral about seeing the guy you hooked chicken for, like you hooked him up with chicken, then you ran him in prison?
Yeah.
Is that
I was-
true?
Yeah. I was really nice
Wow.
to a customer. I tweaked it for This Is Not Happening. The customer that I was nice to, who I ended up seeing the night I got arrested, was from when I worked at Shoney's,
Okay.
which was the year before I started at Golden Corral. But the sense of community and people and just old heads looking out for
That's
me and all of
amazing
that stuff,
story.
that really did happen. The
Ryan, are you
thing-
familiar with this?
No.
Oh, bro,
It's unbelievable.
I was really nice to a customer for a year and a half who was completely silent and never tipped. But I just continued to be nice to him. All right, I'll be nice. I don't care. You're going to come in here. You're not going to tip me. But you give me the least amount of trouble. He comes in, he eats like a whole rotisserie chicken and a pitcher of water and just leave. Like that's
Carrot
just-
cake.
And a piece of carrot cake. Every week, like clockwork. That's just what he fucking does when he comes from the gym and fucking pressing. Fast forward, like a year later, I get arrested. A guy in jail's getting ready to fuck me up. And then some guy in
Yeah.
the corner just goes, nah, he cool. And I look over and it's the fucking guy from Shoney's who I've been nice to for a year
Yeah.
and a
The
half.
chicken guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had my back. Had my
Wow.
back. Like, that was better than...
What'd you get
any
arrested for?
It's still in credit cards when I was like 18.
Why is that? I like how you just smoothed over.
Everybody's still in credit cards. But it
Yeah.
wasn't...
This is in the past.
You know why you have to say it, though? It's because crime is interesting in this country in that TV has conditioned us to assume the worst crime has occurred. Where you go, yeah, I got arrested. Like, who did you murder? How many kilos? It's like, nah, I had a fucking Dillard's credit card and I took it to Dillard's.
Yeah, I listened to you on the.
Bought shit and sold it for cheap.
Yeah.
And they caught me. And I did probation. That's how I got into stand-up. I thought I was going to jail.
Yeah, if you want to hear more of that, listen to Roy Woods.
But it's not. That's not the normal arc. I got
no one-
arrested, so I went into the military. Like you hear that
No
story.
one dared me in an open mic. I always wanted to do stand-up, but I didn't have the courage to do it until I thought that my freedom would be leaving me.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm going to prison. Okay. Let me sign up for this open mic before I go to get murdered in jail.
after I saw you in Brooklyn, I listened to you on the Champs podcast.
Fuck,
And
that's the rawest interview.
That's when you really went into it. And I was like, that was one of the best interviews. And that I listened to every one. That was the best one.
Yeah, that was like, fuck, that's like
Roy really
2010,
gets in the nitty gritty.
Yeah, that was a fucking wild episode.
You can't even listen to it on Spotify anymore. You have to go to Apple.
Oh, yeah,
iTunes.
Neil Brennan pulled.
But it's an amazing interview.
But yeah, like that shit was, like that job taught me so much. And then road comedy, you're right about that. Like especially, like I don't know how it is in the city, but on the road.
Oh, all right.
All right.
All
Wow.
right. Yeah,
Do I
well,
need to scoot over? Is the chef sitting in
Chef
there?
is going to sit in. He's going to pull up a chair at the front of the table.
All right.
What were you saying about sugar?
Just,
I know, right?
Is that my...
I think so.
Just shut it off. Oh, my God. I don't know what any of this stuff is.
Oh, God.
Other than heaven.
Wow. Gotta be
Yeah.
room.
I used to open for alcoholics. I used to open for
Used to.
drug addicts, abusers, womanizers,
This is
and then also
unbelievable.
Tommy Davidson or
Wow.
D.O. Hughley or Dale Givens and like all these comedians who looked out for me, you know?
This looks amazing.
Just cheat towards me. Just, no.
Oh, we got this?
Yeah, yeah.
No. Point your chair that way.
You can
Oh,
actually
gotcha.
sit next to me.
Cool like this?
Or no, I think it could be okay like this.
You're great.
Should work.
And just make sure you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all about posture.
We'll get footage
you
from
got
your
the-
guy. Yeah. I'll get footage from your guy. We'll edit it.
So this is Chef Raph.
guys.
This is the Cheat Day Show. This is Roy Wood Jr.'s Cheat Day.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, guys.
Good to meet you.
We should do this every
Pleasure to
day.
meet you too. Absolutely.
Name another pod that treats you like
All right,
this.
so
What do we have?
a little bit of wine in the middle of the day,
So-
first of all,
Wow.
No, it's a...
courtesy of the olive tree. All right, so what you have in front of you is we have a dry aged porterhouse, glazed in chicken fat, a little bit of soy sauce. And then next to it, I remember you said you like broccoli, so we did like a broccoli cheddar gratin. And
Broccoli cheddar, what? I'm sorry.
gratin, so it's like heavy cream, cheddar. It's a gratin, so it's like a French word for just like heavy cream and cheese, basically,
Oh, rich. That's what
cooked
I'm
down, right? So
into. That's what I'm into.
it's not overly saucy. I put it on the side just so that you could decide decide your own path, you know.
Oh, this is
And yeah, so the steak, it's a 90-day dry aged porterhouse. It's from Pino's Prime Meats. It's the best butcher shop in New York by far.
Oh my God.
And yeah, there you go.
Is it a particular type of beef?
It is grade A Angus. It's really like the best beef that you can get from the States. You know, people like play around with the Wagyu beef, whatever. It's a little bit too fatty to be eating like a full course of, you know what I mean?
Wagyu is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like so much fat, tastes like butter essentially. I love it. But, you know, if you're doing a tasting menu and you have 9 courses and you're doing Wagyu for one of them, you know, that would make sense.
How do you get into, because I always feel like cooking to a degree, it's art, but then it's also like sensory manipulation, right? Where I feel like
Right.
like a DJ is able to use music to manipulate a mood.
Yep.
I can play a song and change the mood of this entire room to create a different emotion. How do you start learning which food with this juice, with this sauce, with this gravy matched with that wine will equal
Okay.
this? Like, how do you look at like? Because like I'll watch some shit like Chopped, right? And I know that's not a fair comparison. That's like you
Yeah,
telling me you
that's
watch
fair.
Last Comic Standing all the time.
I've seen it. It's not a bad. Yeah, it's funny.
Roy was on Last Comic Standing.
Yeah, season 10, third
Oh,
place.
that's my favorite
Yeah,
show.
with Mike D.
Yeah, my DRP. So, how do you just walk into a kitchen and just look at a piece of chicken and go, okay, today I'm going to put it with this, this, and this? Like, how do you create those pairings? Like, because the shit is as fascinating as DJs who mix songs from 2 different decades. And you go, wow, I didn't even know that those two would go together.
Right. So it's actually a really good question. The fact that you said music, I would say it's very similar because cooking is more like a trade. You know, like there is obviously a lot of art that goes into it, but the way that I have the way I have all these pairings like in my mind is I've just worked at so many restaurants over the years, and I just watch, honestly, a lot of videos on YouTube. Like videos where you'll see like an old Chinese woman that's been cooking the same dish for 30 years, and you're just like, oh, that's dope. That makes sense, right? So the way that I kind of pair...
She's not so old.
She's not very old. Yeah, but I mean the way that you kind of pair items together is there are rules, but then once you kind of understand those rules, then you can do basically whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, bro. I don't know how you do this.
It's truly a lot
Like
of
Matrix
fun.
philosophy. Once
Sure.
you know, nothing's real.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
This is
it's-
amazing.
He also
It's just
never
so
eats his
much
own
wow.
food.
That is correct.
He never
yeah.
eats his own food.
That is correct.
Like Beethoven.
I eat hot dogs primarily.
I learned that Bernie Mac never watched any of his movies.
Well,
Not a single
mean-
movie. He's like, I don't need to watch that.
Yeah.
Keep moving. How do you? What's the one thing people get wrong about your job? Like, what's annoying?
People think it's really glamorous. Like there was about 7 years of my life where I worked, like 80, 90 hours a week, not really getting paid very much. It's not a fun job unless you really love it. Like I very much enjoy what I do, but it's still, like when you have a day off, once every 10 days, you're just sleeping, So you really like lose a social life, you're not around your family. But if you don't do that, then you're not really getting one up on the other chefs in the world. And then you're just going to be like an average chef, Not to say that I'm not, that's for you to decide. But
Oh no, this is outstanding.
yeah, this is the best steak I've ever had.
I mean, I saw.
And
Yeah.
Thank you.
This,
But yeah, it's truly
So good.
it's truly like a
It's amazing.
thank you. But it's truly just a tough life, and I've seen a lot of people that they're very hardworking. They really want to do it, but they just don't have the passion for it. And within a year or two, they just can't do it anymore.
What's the
you know?
burnout rate on your job? 'Cause I don't feel like this is a job where
Oh,
it's
he
very
worked
high.
at Golden Corral. You missed that whole.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah.
actually
So
love
he's
that
actually
place.
within
So
your
Yeah,
field.
I'm on your level.
Yeah,
I
you should know that.
Heard of the GC.
I will go to Golden Corral after this. This is a great place.
I worked at Nathan's
Nathan's is great
Hot
too.
dogs.
in the back.
That's what I'm saying. There you go.
They didn't put me in the front.
But yeah,
What's the burnout? Because
It's really
how
high.
many people end up because this doesn't feel like the type of job where like cocaine would help you.
Of course.
Stand up.
I
Okay,
will
maybe it
not.
would.
I will not comment on that.
Oh, we've covered this in other podcasts. His
What
mom
I-
listens, but he's
What I will say is specifically in the restaurants that I've worked in, like more like the fine dining side of this, more than not, a hire that you have come in is not gonna stay for a long time. It's like really hard to fit into the culture of a restaurant, and again, like if you don't love it more than anything in the world, you're just not gonna last.
stand up. It's the same thing.
You have
Late
to
hours,
manage
holidays, you got to love it. You're not getting paid a lot.
Also something to say about it is like it takes, we'll say conservatively 3 to 5 years to not suck. So like if you can deal with just not being good at something, like similar to stand up.
and the temperament about just the diminishing return of success moving so slow.
Yeah.
When you're a chef, you're behind a hot
Yep.
stove for 10 hours a day.
That's correct.
Your mind goes crazy. Anybody
lose your
else
fucking mind, yeah.
that is just nice to you, you're just like, could snap.
Are you a restaurant owner too?
Currently, yes. There's a place called Short Stories that I have bought very recently. It's on 4th and Bowery.
Can we eat this there?
So we're still in the transition of the menu.
Yes.
So it's more like we're like turning it more into a restaurant. It's currently a cocktail bar. Like I was there last night. There was just like 100 people doing shitty drugs and just dancing until 4 in the morning. Trying to change it a little bit,
That sounds like fun too, though.
Well, they don't spend as much money,
Okay.
because they're already fucked up when they're there. So, right? It is a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to change the food program. It's going to be a lot of small bites, simple bar food. But
You gotta share this with the world.
What's crazy about owning a restaurant though is your inventory is literally dying every day. If you don't
Yeah.
move it, it goes bad. Like that is an insane gun to have to your head.
Well, there are certainly ways, like over the years, that I've learned where you don't waste anything. There's always a way There's many ways to skin a cat. It sounds really weird when talking about food. We're not skinning cats. I promise
Good
you.
news, we have a special. We didn't sell it yesterday.
Yeah, it's not a feline. But I mean, there's a lot of ways to ferment things, pickle things, cure things. So just like over the years, something I'm very, very interested in is just like learning how to keep something, you don't want to manipulate it too much, but making something like making an asparagus little thing into something special and not like, not being pretentious about it. There's a lot of restaurants out there like, oh, this is asparagus 13 ways. Like, I'm here to have fucking dinner. This is not an art show. Like,
Roy, do you cook?
Not really. I can, but not amazing. 25 years on the road, it just never was practical. So when I was home, I want to go to sleep. Like, I just don't want to cook. Like,
definitely know what you're saying.
But then on the other side of the game, I've done all that Blue Apron, we'll mail you the shit to your house, cook it yourself shit, and it's fine. And then I tried it's local chefs making shit, and they'll mail it to you tomorrow, and it was made around the corner from you, and it's just fancy fucking.
Yeah.
How is that?
TV
That's not
dinners.
good.
It wasn't bad,
Right.
but you always feel like, well, I could have cooked something better than this.
So that was actually like accidentally how I started my business. So during COVID, I had moved back to New York. I was losing my mind, like doing nothing. Where I was going from working, 100 hours a week in a different
We were
city.
telling jokes in the park. So,
Right.
I mean,
it's similar, right? Like I was cooking in a 3 Michelin star restaurant in the Bay Area. I had like a team that I was running, and I went to sitting in my brother's shitty law school house, starting to smoke pot again, and my dad was like, just fucking do something. So I started bringing meals to just friends of mine. I was like bringing house-made pasta, whatever, like things that are way too intricate to drop off to somebody. It was really fucking up, and I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. And then people were like, oh, we want to pay for this, and then we got a bunch of orders, and then we were like, we're gonna stop delivering food, we're gonna start going to your house. Then that happened, and then it just kind of snowballed into like, doing residencies at bars, restaurants.
you can hire Raph to cook for you.
Wow.
Like, he can come to your house. I mean, it could be just you, but you can hire him.
We do have a team
like,
now. So
if you have a party or a date night.
That's the next thing.
I think we went over that date nights or not.
Someone tried to have an orgy with him. Like, 2 people
I
hired
didn't
him.
confirm that. I didn't.
I mean, your steak's good, but is it orgy good?
I did leave very quickly.
You want a tip or not, bro? I mean,
That's not a tip, man. That is figuratively a tip, but it's not.
I mean, there's the classic pornos like, how are you gonna pay for this pizza?
No, who are the religious people down south that got caught in that scandal? The pool boy was sleeping with the wife, and the husband was watching.
Husband was watching.
The husband was
There was
watching.
a politician.
Major member of the church.
The church. That's right. Yeah. It's part of like a big
Southern Baptist,
evangelical. Yeah.
Are you really surprised though?
Those people really close to God.
I feel like that's on the light side of like very religious people, high-ranking pastors and shit like that. They're very fucked.
Yeah, I've done the meal deliveries where it's pre-made, and most of them were good. It's convenient as hell. Who put me onto that was Trevor Noah.
Oh, really?
Trevor's one of those guys where, like, I don't know what type of podcast he'd be listening to and shit, but he's one of those, the efficiency of your day, and think about everything you do and why you do it and this moment. Mm-hmm. And when you think about cooking, consider how much time you're losing with cooking and the productivity and the.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
I open his fridge. It's just like 20 of these shits just stacked, and it's just.
Yeah.
He's got breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's like it's one less thing. Like on some Steve Jobs black turtleneck for the rest of my life.
Wear the same. Yeah, well,
shit.
that's simpler if you wear the same outfit. I can see the sense in that.
There was a few times I saw him in public. He was wearing a very similar outfit for sure.
And his thing was, because I'm not cooking, I've now also removed grocery shopping from the equation.
There you go.
And so now looking for groceries or being at the grocery store. And so a guy like Trevor who
busy.
He's busy.
Really busy.
Busier than me. But, in a perfect world, if I was rich, I would just have a chef that just cooks shit every day.
Yeah.
I've been over the houses of people who have a chef the same. It's just A nanny.
Yep.
It's just a motherfucker who comes over every day.
Yeah, I was
just-
I was actually offered a job like that in the Hamptons, and I don't think they could pay me any amount of money to do that.
To just be a hostage.
I mean, literally,
I mean, we know comedians.
Is
that
it
have
like being a cruise ship
stupid-ass
comedian?
kids.
You're just
Yeah.
stuck there.
I'm saying like there's stupid
every
ass
show.
kids are coming home drunk at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, make me some food. Like, no, fuck off. I'm
Yeah.
sleeping. Like,
Right, you ever do
no
cruises?
chance.
I've never done a cruise.
Have you?
I won't say the comic's name, but I saw a comic that I opened for way back in the day. He was on a cruise that I was on with the girl. So, you go to the comedy
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
You have to go to the comedy
Yeah.
show. And I said this to him with love, and this was early. This was like 98, 99 when I opened for him. But he did a joke where he said the N-word, and I wasn't old enough to check him about it or anything like that at the time because
he
he's
wasn't-
the
it was a
headliner.
white
Yeah, so he was
okay,
a white comic.
yeah.
He said nigga on stage, and I was like 19 or whatever. It kind of got a laugh.
And it
like,
rhymes with
it's-
Neil Brennan.
I'm not finna confront no headliner and lose my job and all of that shit. So whatever, fine. And so knowing what I know now about comedy and what he was attempting to do, right or wrong, I respect effort. Just as a
Yeah.
comic, I respect the fact that you took a chance,
Fair enough.
didn't get to laugh, but hey. And I go up to him after the show. Hey man, I don't know if you remember me, but 99, you did this joke, Snoop Dogg, the Chronic 2001, and his face went beet red.
Oh.
He thought I was like confronting him to like cancel him or some shit. And I was like, nah man, I just want to say I respect the effort. Hey man, I have kids now. I spread love. He's a squeaky clean comic now. That's the other thing.
You have to be on the ships.
Yeah, he's a fucking clean act now, but like in 99, he was a motherfucker.
Wow. That's great, though.
What do you think of
That's amazing.
the Golden Globes? Gerard's Open.
I thought it was fine. He roasted him. Like, they needed a scolding. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
In a way.
They wanted to be punished in a safe environment.
Yeah, Gerard wanted to punish him.
Yeah.
And I know, us, the comedic purists, we want more laughs per minute. But, Gerard's on some different shit where he's just going to own whatever's feeling in the moment. But what I'm interested in seeing what happens on the other side of Gerard is if they ever let another black person host the Golden Globes.
Yeah,
Because
they definitely will.
I don't know.
But here's, I didn't mind the content. I was hoping for more jokes. Keep the content, just take the swing.
Of course, every comic was, but like oddly, like everybody else was like, "This is great."
They don't know. The late great Vic Henley used to say it all the time. He go, Reiss, they don't know. They don't know what a joke is. They have no idea.
It just seemed like they wanted some kind of uncomfortable catharsis where they can feel bad for like a little bit, but not ruin their night. They wanted that balance, and all right, who you get for that? You get Gerard.
Yeah, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we just want some jokes." And Gerard was like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking say bad."
I want to
dog
watch
and
you
hit
sweat a
in the-
little bit.
I'm gonna hit you in the nose with
Yeah.
the newspaper. But I think, as a comic, you always want joke.
Take the shot.
Who's this comic?
Gerard Carmichael was hosting the Golden Globes, and he opened by reprimanding the room. Would you say that, or he called them
course
to
he did.
task? I think that's a better.
It's a diversity hire. That's what he said.
Chelsea Handler
Yeah.
was on their necks at the Critics' Choice Awards. Speaking of Chelsea, she had a really good monologue. I don't remember none of her jokes, but the shit was funny.
Ricky Gervais, he was great too.
Oh.
But he was joke. He's a joke.
Comic.
Really just hitting them.
Ricky Gervais was on some, I'm going to fucking chop your head off. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't care.
He actually seemed like he wanted to get fired. It seemed like he was hoping they would just get a new host in the
Which
middle
made
of the
them
show.
love it even more. They're like,
Yeah.
come back again,
Yeah.
Ricky, please.
Yeah. Do you ever have that on stage where I've had this before, where I do a show on Long Island, and I was like, I'm going to open with the one thing I can't joke about because they'll respect that I made such a big swing, they'll have to laugh.
Yeah.
And then you just bomb your fucking ass off.
Yeah, but it's either that or you earn their trust which could also work, but I sometimes consider that cheating because I'm like, oh, well, I'm stacking the day.
Pandering a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fluffing you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do what I actually want to do after 15 minutes.
That's kind of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's like the professional route.
To me, the strategy is, it would depend on how abrasive the material is that night. 10 minutes of earn your trust and get to know me.
I mean,
and then you're better informed of where I'm coming from.
That's how we treat like relationships. Like a girl isn't like crazy or that crazy.
Yeah.
Right in the first few dates, it takes a little bit to get to know her to realize what a mistake you made.
I'd say first few months for sure. You don't see the true crazy.
Yeah. Like,
or you ignore it. Or you go
just like if you're Ryan Reiss.
Oh boy, do I ignore it! I'm like, but she's hot, so it's fine.
Just throwing red flags at you, and you're just like,
the
I don't see color
now. Because like Ryan knows I've been off the road. Like I wasn't even doing sets in New York for like a year, maybe a little more than that, and like slowly starting to thaw out and get back in the swing of it. I have thoughts now and premises now that don't work in 10 minutes because I don't have enough time to earn your trust.
Yeah.
So I still don't truly know what the joke is or if the joke is funny. And then if I do the joke wrong, there's no time, there's no runway to recover on the backside of it. So then you're fucked. And then you just leave the stage just in the middle of a dip and you're all right, good night. I gotta go.
Really, really interesting.
Yeah, because there's not enough time. And then what I've also learned with my act is that the darker it is, the more I need to smile. And I'm not natural about smiling, so I have to be like literally cognizant of, okay, you're gonna start talking about a suicide joke. You must, I'm trying, and it's funny to me, and that's enough for me to start the journey. But I also feel like some audiences now, like people talk about audiences are sensitive or whatever, but I think it's more of so much fucked up shit has happened. Our default is to feel empathy before laughter.
Interesting.
So if you do anything that's a little dark, people immediately want to go, "Aw."
I hate that so much.
Yeah, and it's
that doesn't bother me more.
No, laugh. It's okay. I'm talking about it.
And it's so fucked up too because like they're not volunteering at a soup kitchen with their Friday night. They're getting shit-faced at a comedy club and judging people.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on and it's not even a bit fully, but just my issue when entertainers kill themselves, and this is a true thing, is that there's always... Yeah. But it's the idea that we talk about mental health from a place of check on your friends, right? But there's never any instructions given on how to properly check on your friends. So no one knows how to ask if you're okay. So the issue I deal with, and this is real, whenever an entertainer kills himself, I get a deluge of texts from people that I haven't talked to in fucking years, just going, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, man," and they mean well and there's sincerity to it. But then when you look in the text thread, and it's just them checking in every time somebody died, which creates a trail of insincerity, in my opinion. You get what I'm saying? Like,
they don't. This is a weird profession. Not a lot of people have exposure to it. They don't really understand it.
I know, but to that point, I have to be able to speak to that comedically so that I can address it from all sides. But I have to put part of it on stage to know that it's worth continuing the research.
Yeah, I mean,
that shit ain't getting no fucking laugh.
Maybe you just go.
I mean, you kind of
do the other profession thing where you're like, if your mechanic killed himself, you're not calling Meineke. Like, is everyone cool down there?
You kind of address it with the Facebook killer that you have.
Yeah.
You want a little more?
Just a little more. Yeah, pull me a little line. Thank you very much, Chef. These rude motherfuckers didn't even check.
That's why I'm here, man.
We're such great hosts.
Yeah, but it's like, or even like the idea of you try to present something, like the challenge now is trying to present an idea without people being obsessed about the subtext that's happening underneath it. True statement. I sometimes get DM'd by canceled entertainers who want to hang out. I don't know them.
Now you don't know him.
weird.
I've had no pre-existing relationship with these entertainers
Yeah.
before they got canceled. And now they want to hang out. What the fuck is it about me that makes me a magnet to motherfuckers getting canceled? Like, am I the like the guy you get seen with so that people
Because you
know
have
you're
resting
on the path?
Martin Luther King Jr. face.
Like, am I the guy on the path
Looks
to
familiar.
anti-abuse? Like, am I the guy you get seen with? They go, oh, well, he must be a good guy.
You
Roy
seem
Hunt.
like a nice guy.
You're a very nice guy, and that you're the easy ask.
And that's bitch shit. That means I'm a bitch.
What?
No,
No, it doesn't.
That's not what we said. That's what you said.
No, it doesn't. I said earlier, you did my movie, which is coming out this year. Before we get started, you literally know nothing about this or who was in it, and you just said yes. You said yes
That's
immediately.
because I know you're a hustler, and I know you're not ever involved in any fuck shit. So if you're attached, that's enough because I know your grind. Period. So it's yes to you
That's fair.
because I know you and you know me. But some random motherfucker who has no history with me just go, hey man, you want to do lunch? And it's like, no, I don't want to be in public with you. Like, it's total
It's just gonna be
disregard.
me, you, my photographer. It's gonna be.
I mean,
So it's a.
I could put it in another perspective. Maybe that's the same quality that makes you so likable on stage by a public audience.
Woman beaters want to fucking
No, I mean,
grab a drink with
Are they comedians?
wait.
Are they just regular entertainers?
Wait,
all right.
no. I think it just means that you're accessible.
Yeah.
In a good way. And also a bad way if you're, I don't know what this person
I
did.
think it means you're out of options.
Yeah, it's
you're
unfortunate.
trying to build your friendships.
For that guy, but not for you.
Fine, but I stand to lose more than you in this social transaction.
And that's why you don't have to fuck with them.
And for the most part, I don't. And like it's a case by case fucking thing. But you're trying to build it to a bigger conversation about how do people re-enter into society after whatever the fuck.
tricky.
But I can't present that without presenting the crime
So what you're
or the
saying-
thing that they did. And the
Okay.
moment I do that, I've identified the person. Now that's a whole separate can. And that ain't what the joke is about. The joke isn't about someone by name sending me a PM. It's about all these people that are fucked up. Some magnanimously, and some it was a gray area, but none of them know how to make friends. And
So-
the joke is about how do you
Yeah,
make friends
gotcha.
as a 40-year-old man.
I mean, there was the movement in the chef community like probably 6-7 years ago. It was called the Me Too movement, right? And there was
Familiar.
Never
Yeah,
heard.
it's still
not,
it's actually
not to
Go
take
on.
a side here, absolutely not taking a side. But there's a lot of good friends of mine that I know are genuinely good people. That they were kind of like targeted because people needed to take a fall, you know.
Yeah.
And it puts you in a sticky situation because like you want to keep your job, like you don't want to get a bad reputation,
so-
you know, this and that.
So
and it's
Roy,
like,
I think what you're telling us is you're not going to be joining Bill Cosby on tour this summer.
I would decline.
You declined politely.
Would you go watch?
I would listen to the audio if somebody recorded it. Let me hear what motherfucker. Do you talk about jail?
wait, is he on tour this summer? Or are you playing?
Yeah, he's going out on tour.
No fucking
Yep.
way.
But it's like
Wow.
it's just this conversation about how do people re-enter into the world and what is my responsibility in helping that? Because it's like what's fucked up about entertainment, and I don't know if it's like this with other jobs. I imagine it is with like cop and military, like any job where you're underpaid and PTSD'd up really good. Like you have you have a sense of community. I stand beside you no matter what. And I get that in stand-up to a degree, but like this whole, oh, he's one of us. Okay, well, what happened? What did he do? Let me case by case
funny.
this. But just because of your occupation, I'm just supposed to just let that go and just fucking go kick it with you and have
You
dinner.
feel like you're being picked last in a kickball game.
Bing, bing, bing.
That was a great point.
All right. Well, we got to get Roy out of here. He's got a very. Can I say who you're going to call with?
When is this airing?
Probably next week.
Yeah, you can say.
He's got a phone call with the White House. So,
Oh my
Nice,
God.
man.
apparently, Biden has tapped him to take over.
I have been summoned. No,
Wow, all the
the
jobs.
Golden State Warriors are going to be there for their championship. You know that shit
Cool.
where my team won the championship, we get to meet the president. I don't even know why we do that as a country.
What's your connection to the Warriors?
Nothing. I'm just going because it's politics, and we convinced the White House to let us come down there because they still think Trevor Noah hosts the show.
Do some plugs.
So you can find me on Instagram at Chef Raph NYC. We're dropping a lot of merch coming up soon. Very excited, and I will keep you posted on the following episodes. The chef owner of Something Good Hospitality. That's Something Good HSP on the IG as well. And Short Stories on East 4th and Bowery is our new restaurant and bar. Feel free to come through. Maybe you'll see Roy Jones Jr. there.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I'll be in there. Short stories.
Go for it, Roy. What do you got? Anything?
No. Well, yeah, I do.
If you've been canceled, please DM Roy. We would love to hang out.
Let's do lunch, even though we've never been friends, and now I have to bet my career on our new friendship. Thank you for that stress. The San Francisco Cobbs, RoyWoodJr.com. Just go there. The dates are up. But
Okay.
San Francisco, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Austin. Why am I looking at you? You don't fucking know. I don't even fucking know where I'm going. Yeah, just go to the website. Also, Daily Show weekly, 11 o'clock, Comedy Central.
Awesome. Jeremy?
Jeremy Schaftel on all social media. I'm at the Comic Strip every Wednesday at 8, stand-up New York every Friday at 10, and I post all my shows on my stories.
This is at The Cheat Day Show. You can find us on YouTube at The Cheat Day Show. I'm Ryan Reiss. You can find me at RR Comedy on Instagram. Cheat well, everyone. Enjoy your meals.
All right.
Thanks for listening to the Cheat Day Show podcast. To learn more about our show, the hosts, the comedians, our guests, our chefs, and more, visit our website, thecheatdayshow.com. Also, follow along with us on our social media at The Cheat Day Show on Instagram and Twitter. Future episodes can be found in all the places you get your favorite podcast. Our show is also sponsored by the world-famous Comedy Cellar on McDougal Street in New York City's Greenwich Village. Visit ComedyCellar.com for show lineups happening 7 days a week. Later, cheaters.